This short video is going to demonstrate how you can use Document X to create Java documentation. I'm going to start here in Eclipse, and I've got some Java source code open, and I've already added some JavaDoc format comments, and that's the first thing I wanted to make absolutely clear, is that we're not replacing these JavaDoc comments or changing the way that you comment your Java source code. We're just providing a different way to build the documentation output from that. So all of the tags in JavaDoc that you already use are supported, including inline links, definition of exceptions, your summaries, so on and so forth. So I've just got a fairly small demonstration project here with a few classes in, and I'm ready now. I've created the comments in the source code. I'm ready to create some documentation for that. So I'm going to switch to Document X, which I've already got open here, and I'm going to create a new project for my Java documentation. So I've chosen the path and file name in which I want to save my new project. Click OK, and a new empty project will be created for me. I'm going to click the Add Java Project button on the ribbon here to add my Java project to this documentation set. I'm going to give it a meaningful name. In this case it's an RSS reader sample project. So I'm going to add a source path so that Document X knows where to find my Java source. So that's the root of my Java source directory. And I'm also going to define the package name that I'm interested in documenting, and in this case it's Innovasys.RSS reader. And I can tick this box to have it automatically include all the child packages I may have below that. So we're good to go. I'm going to click the OK button to add that Java project to my documentation set, and if I expand the main node on the Project Explorer that's been added for that Java project, I can see the package and the classes and an enumeration as well underneath here, and I can untick and tick those to include or exclude them from the documentation set. What I can also do is come into the Document X default build profile that's been added to my project here and go to the Java settings page, and there's some additional ways of filtering out items to include or exclude in the documentation set. So I can include according to the type visibility, and I can also set some filters on the members as well as the types according to their visibility. So automatically here by default excluding private and package private members, just including the protected and the public types of members. And there are also a bunch of other options in the build profile editor here to tweak the documentation content and the style. So I'm going to imagine for a moment that there's a couple of things I wanted to include in the documentation that I didn't want to put in my source comments. So I've got a nice big example perhaps that I want to include, or some expansive remarks that I didn't want to put as a really wordy comment in my source code. And this is where the documentation content authoring features come into their own, because I can open up the content file that's been added to my project when I've added that Java RSS reader here. It's automatically added a content file, and this is an editing and authoring environment in which I can supplement the content that's coming from the source code comments. If I click one of these classes in my source, I can see a preview of what the generated page is going to look like, but there are also editable areas in which I can directly author additional content. There isn't any content coming from the source for this class, but if I look at one of the methods here, drill down to one of the overloads for this particular method, I can see in light grey a rendering of what the source comment is for this particular item. So I can immediately see what needs to be added to this particular page in order to make it usable and useful documentation. So I'm going to go back to the class here. I'm just going to type a quick description just to demonstrate that we can put content in content files as well as in the source comments. Okay, so I've added the Java source to the documentation project. I've gone in and created a quick description against one of the classes to supplement what's coming from the source. I'm now going to go ahead and build the documentation set. So what this is doing by default is creating a set of HTML based output. If I just bring that out to demonstrate. And this HTML based output includes a full table of contents, index, a full text search, and also a favorites functionality, and a comprehensive set of pages for the Java project that I've documented, and all of the pages are interlinked and hyperlinked, and pages such as the members pages include features to allow you to filter on included protected members. And the structure and layout of these pages is HTML based, so you don't need to do any coding in order to customize and extend what we deliver out of the box here. What we also generate is a compiled CHM file, which is a similar set of features with an index search, table of contents. So you've got some choices in how you deploy this documentation. So what I'm going to do now is switch back to Eclipse and discover how I can access that documentation from directly within Eclipse. So I've got a second project loaded here, which is a consumer of that class project that I'm just documenting. And what I'm going to do is to identify where my documentation for that reference project is. So I'm going to go into the Eclipse build paths and set the Javadoc location to the path I've just built my documentation to, our local file system path. So if I open up the source for my consumer here and hover over one of the types that I've just documented, this RSS feed class for example, I can see the content from my documentation. That's something I put in the content file, and also one of the methods here, this content's coming directly from the Javadoc source comments. And in both of these pop-up tooltips I have a link directly into the generated documentation. So this includes all the automatically generated components of the documentation, including rich links to other parts of the documentation, but also the content coming directly from my Javadoc source comments. So in addition to the features that DocumentX offers you for automating the reference documentation aspects, you also have some features for creating manual conceptual topics directly within DocumentX. So I'm just going to briefly demonstrate how that works. So I'm going to click on the new topic toolbar, click on the new topic ribbon button, and I'm going to create an introduction topic. So this is a free format topic editor. You can put any content you'd like in here to provide background or conceptual information to support your reference documentation. And I can add that topic to the table of contents here that's generated in both the web and the CHM output, and organize that into a structure as I see fit. So I'm just going to briefly build that project again to show you how that appears alongside the reference documentation in the generated output. So there we have it. There's our reference portion generated automatically from our Java source and supplemented with the content I put in the content file editor using our existing Javadoc source comments, and also my free format topic alongside that. So that concludes this short video demonstrating how you can use DocumentX to generate source for your Java projects.